Hello, and welcome to my latest video. This one is called Destiny, and I'm using a different base coat to the one that I normally use. It's white acrylic paint with a house paint. It's chalk furniture paint, I think, not the radiator enamel paint. And a mix of some white house paint in there as well. So it's a slightly thicker and a bit more gritty a mix. So it's a bit harder to shift on the canvas sometimes, and it dries a lot quicker. If you are ever going to use a chalk paint or enamel paint or house paint, they do dry quicker, and it feels, it is very different to just acrylic paint with pouring medium. There's also some glue in that as well, just because that's the water and glue pouring medium is what I use. So you can see I had done the edges first. That's because with it being the paint that it is, the colour is very different to the white gesso of the canvas. So I wanted to make sure it had gone over the edges so my sides were covered, no matter what happens if the paint does go over the sides or not. My intention on this one was to have the paint going over the sides in a couple of corners probably. And I'm using the paints that are left over from the butterfly pour. I did enough paint to do both of these, so I'm starting there with the crystal green, or ice blue. No, that was the ice blue, I think. And now I'm coming in with the burgundy by Arteza. It's a gorgeous shade of red. I love it so much. And now coming in with the Windsor blue possibly, and just pouring in some silver. Just had a little bit left in the cup there, and now coming in with a lighter blue that I had mixed up. That was a mix of silver and brilliant blue, I think. And now coming in with another colour that looks orange to me, but I didn't put any orange in this. So that's going to be the what was it called? The Pebeo blue red or red blue. That will end up being quite a dominant colour in the end of this one. And I'm just trying to get some gold in here. I had a little bit left, but not much. And it doesn't end up actually showing up too much in the end of the piece. And I was just then debating whether to put another colour in or not. I decided not to, and I'm just putting white along the edges just because I wanted to make sure that the paint was going to flow. Tried the tap to remove the blue bit there, but failed, so I was going to come back in with a come back over with some white paint if I needed to. So I'm just blowing the design out. As you can see, the paint's not moving as far as it normally would, so it's and the white is swallowing it up a little bit, but I am getting a design that I kind of like. I did make a mistake though, blowing each side out. I should have just done a kind of a zigzag, so I'm having to go back now and re-blow out each side, and I'm blowing out just to try and get the colours to spread out a little bit more and show up a bit more. Can't believe how much that red blue, which is a very bright red, looks like orange on the camera. And I'm just experimenting with a design here, just seeing if I can get the colours to blend, and we'll see what effect I can get really. So I'm just using a plastic shot glass, the rim of it, just to dip into the paint and swivel round, just to create what I think is an interesting effect. And on the final piece it does really bear out. It takes the solid line that was in the middle and makes it look a bit more interesting. And then I'm taking the rim of the cup where there was some paint and seeing if I can create some shapes around the outside of the painting. Lovely, lovely circles that do not at all work with the painting. At this point I am shouting at myself in the past, telling myself not to do this because it's not going to work. And now I'm going, well, let's make the best of a bad job and put the pink in that I forgot to put in originally. That's Opera Rose by Windsor Newton. So coming in with, going to do a few little mini things, mini Dutch paws, that's it. Trying to rescue this piece that I have ruined all on my own. There are points when I was doing this piece I really didn't know how it was going to turn out, and yeah, it turns out quite nice in the end, and I called it Destiny. Well, I'll tell you about that when we get to the bit where we're showing where you've got the dried result. But the piece kind of reminds me, the bit in the middle is you going through your life and various points in your destiny, and you've got a snake on one side and a dragon on the other, whispering in your ear. Not really sure what, but I see a snake on one side and a dragon on the other. I would go in and try and give a bit more definition to the dragon, but I think I'd ruin the piece if I did that. So I'm just here pouring a bit more, just with the stirring stick, of the white around, just to give the paint something to flow over. And I'm using the hairdryer again to blow them out individually to start off with, but then decide it's gonna look better if I join these ribbons of colour into one. So there you go, you've got a snake, looks very slithery and snaky in the bottom there, and you've got one wing there, then the body of the dragon coming in, and another wing, kind of. It looks different when it's dried, to be fair. It didn't look that dragony when I was actually pouring this bit. And I'm just trying to blow this out a bit more to give a bit more balance to the piece, try and get the two shapes to look fairly similar, as one looks fairly linear and the other one is just a blob in the corner. And at this point I'm regretting that I didn't do more paint, because I'm really scraping the bottom of that white paint, and with it using the chalk furniture paint, it's a bit of a bugger to mix up, in all honesty. And I try not to use that paint so much. The other thing I will say, if you're going to use any household paints, remember that they have fumes. So if you have asthma or any breathing difficulties, or anyone in your household does, make sure that you leave the painting drying in a space that is well ventilated, so you're not going to make anyone ill. And I'm coming back in, trying to do the circle trick again because of reasons. And yeah, we'll leave that at that. I'm just flipping the light down just so I can see a bit better, and I'm just kind of trying to create a bit of a ribbon there and sharpen some edges. And then just standing back, looking at the piece, trying to decide if I like the composition, if there's anything else I'd like to add in or change. And I've decided to go with the soap and water spray just to see what reaction it gives and what different cells might come out. And as you can see there, it did change it. Not as dramatically as I was thinking it would. I thought it would bring a few more colours through, but it didn't completely change the piece. And just using the heat wand to get any air bubbles out of the piece so I don't have any pinpricks later once it's all dried. And there you can see me on my phone taking a picture of the piece. And flipping the light out the way. And also taking a picture of the other piece as well. I like to get pictures of the pieces as I've done them, just so I've got a picture of them wet and then when they've dried. And I'm just going along the bottom of the canvas just to get any drips that there might be, and I'm just going over the edges where it doesn't look like, even though I did quite a lot of work to try and get the paint to go over the edge, I'd managed to miss a bit there. The paint hadn't dripped down quite as much. I did end up changing this a bit in post-production, and we're going to see the dried result with those changes. So as you can see, I've done a red ribbon through the middle, and I've also added a bit more colour on the outsides, just because I touched the wet paint and there was a sodding great fingerprint in them. So I just used the paint that was left and blew over it with a straw. I think it makes it stand out and look gorgeous. I do love how this looks. You can see snake at the bottom, dragon at the top. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, go back through my library, watch my other wonderful videos. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.